who's ready for day 3. I'm excited about it. If you know anything about me, you know that postpartum support and postpartum healing, it's one of my loves. That's really what initially got me into this whole chosen nest endeavor. Yeah. So if you've listened to the podcast at all, you know I experienced a postpartum mood disorder. I'm very open about that now, but there was a time when I was not willing to admit it, not willing to seek out help for it. And that was a scary time, a dark and isolating time. So we're diving into that a little bit today with today's giveaway. So stay with me. There's a lot of good stuff coming at you. You want to start with the products? I know that's like a favorite for everyone. So let's see what you get if you win the giveaway today. You know I'm going to bring it back to Earth Mama. Love this stuff so much. So you'll see it all week long. Hope you're not tired of it because I love it. So our uterus is like a mega muscle, right? It goes from the size of an inverted pear, stretches out all the way to the size of about a watermelon, depending on how big your baby is or at what point you deliver in your pregnancy. It's a lot of work. It needs a little bit of love and attention. I love this tea, the periodic tea for postpartum and for PMS and all that good stuff, period, because it helps you give that uterus just a little bit of extra love. It worked hard. You're about to work hard too if you're about to have a baby. And if you already have, you know the hard work behind that. So, also, I want to show you a few things. You're going to go home. If you're in a hospital, you're going to go home with a few things. If you're birthing at home or in a birth center, they may send you home with stuff. They may say, hey, go on out and get this. So I'm going to show you some of those things. We talk about this in my class. We cover these things at length, but I want to show you here too because I've got some sweet alternatives to them. Dermaplast, it's great, but it's also filled with a lot of chemicals. So do your research there. Maybe look it up on the environmental working group. See what the rating is. Tux, and that's not a dig against Dermaplast. Gosh, I don't need a lawsuit. I'm just saying, like, it is what it is. The ingredients are there. Tux, these are witch hazel pads. Lovely for that painful pushing area after. And then you may get one of these sweet things. You know what I almost did, guys? I almost put a little water in here just to get your attention. But then I thought some people may say, oh my God, that's disgusting. This is not mine. I didn't take it from a patient. I didn't save it from my own. I bought it on Amazon. So I show all that to you because I've got some alternatives that I want to talk to you about. So let's look here. Yeah. That's fleshy, sort of pseudo fabric fleshy bits. Hello! I feel like Mrs. Doubtfire when I do that. So we're going to need some healing here, right? On the outside. Let's talk a little bit about external healing. I'm going to take this off because we're going to bring it back to something else later. So when you push a baby out, or if a baby is surgically removed from your body, that needs some love. So let's love on it with some Earth Mama. One thing... Again, this was in my birth bag. This is why I fell in love with this. This is why I was like, hey, Earth Mama, can I get a birth professional account? Because I love your stuff. And it's pretty much the only thing I recommend to any patient. Or I shouldn't say patient. I don't have patients, clients. Herbal Perineal Spray. This is lovely. It feels so good. And it's a nice alternative to other things that are out there offered, provided. Pick your poison, non-poison, whatever you want to call it. Pick your spray. Pick your perineal support. Love this stuff. Take care down there is what they say. But it's refreshing. It's soothing. Good. And then the Perineal Balm. That's really good. This is just like a nice little salve. So this is good for healing those external tears maybe. Or if you have hemorrhoids. Yeah. Let's do that. Because you've got a lot of pressure throughout pregnancy on your pelvic floor. And sometimes, it's another thing we talk about in my course, you can get hemorrhoids. So we talk about how you get them, ways to talk to your provider about supporting them. So, and then belly birth mamas, you're important to me too. So if you win this giveaway and you know, I'm not having a vaginal delivery, guess what? Your outside bits will still need a little spray because you deserve to feel fresh too, even if a baby did not be born through that way. But I will swap the Peri Balm because you won't need that one for the Skin and Scar Balm, okay? So that you can have a little love to that incision site, because sometimes we have a little competition in birth world, right? That's another reason why I'm trying to do this education, is because one birth is no more or less meaningful than another. It doesn't matter if you had an epidural or not. It doesn't matter if you had a cesarean or not. What matters is that you had support and that you had the information that you needed to make the best decisions within that. Some of this is out of our control, right? Other stuff that we cover in my course. So, oh, hi, I want to toss this in because Blossom Baby sells these. If you want to pop down to Blossom, buy one. It's just an alternative to this. The Frida Baby, you know, that, like, the people call it the nasty nose sucker. No, it's great. It's really good. This is for, it's like a spray. It's like a little Friday is what they call it. So cute. So I want to move on. There's one more thing in the giveaway, but I want to move on. I want to move on to something very important. We're talking about, so this sort of covers external healing, right? How do we heal that outside of the body? These things are great. Products are awesome. But I also want to bring up post-birth warning signs, right? So this is from A1. And this is a handy little thing that some birth centers, some hospitals, some providers print out and distribute to patients or clients. And it's just like, hang this on your fridge, know the warning signs, because the United States has one of the highest mortality rates postpartum. Maternal mortality rates are high here. So what does that mean? That means that of all the places in the world, the United States has a very high incidence of mothers or birthing folks dying after they have their baby. That is tragic. And there's so much work that we can do to try to prevent that, right? We're going to talk about, if you follow the YouTube link to the video where I talk about placental detachment, we talk about bleeding a little bit and how providers do a great job, the best job that they can to get all that they can or know that that placenta has fully detached, right? But sometimes these sneaky little bits stay, or there are some other reasons why we may be having hemorrhage. So I bring that up not to scare you in this giveaway, but real talk, right? If I bring you in with a product, maybe I'll deliver a message that's powerful too. We need to know these post-birth warning signs so that we can do our work, whatever work we can, to decrease that maternal mortality rate. So this is part of my course. I have a sheet that talks about post-birth warning signs, and we also talk about pregnancy warning signs. Those are important too, right? Jaybird. Okay, so I want to talk about internal healing too, and there's a few things there. So let me mention a few things that, because one is part of the giveaway. So it doesn't have the cloth on it anymore. Don't be afraid. Your pelvis, right? Did you know that you have a pelvic floor and that there's a lot of inner workings there that maybe get tried or tested or torn during birth? Yeah, well, there are these wonderful experts called pelvic floor physical therapists. Megan, looking at you, girl. Reach out to my friend Megan at Chrysalis Physical Therapy. She's fun and she's great. She'll be at the Peninsula Birth and Baby Expo. So will KidSat Physical Therapy. And you know what? They're both doing classes on stuff regarding physical therapy surrounding the perinatal chapter. I encourage you to attend. I'll put some links below, but quick snapshot and shout out to them. March 21st, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. A $5 admission gets you unlimited classes and helps you to meet both myself, because we're going to be a sponsor there this year. Excited about that. And so many other birth workers. So before I derail the train too much, head on over to the YouTube channel, because you'll get to see that video about placental detachment, some things we need to be mindful for. So since I may have lost a few of you at this point, let's talk about the last final thing in the giveaway today. This is a book that I adore, and I'm going to read the back quickly to tell you why. It's called Good Moms Have Scary Thoughts, and this is very real, right? We don't talk about it enough. Over 90% of new mothers have scary, intrusive thoughts about their baby and themselves. What if I drop him? What if I snap and hurt him? Mothering is so hard. I don't know if I really want to do this anymore. Gosh, I'm so terrible for even thinking that. Yet, for too many mothers, those thoughts remain secret, hidden away in shame that make you feel even worse. I've been there. It was me. You too? But there is good news. You can feel better. So this author, Karen Kleiman, I may be saying your name wrong, Karen, but Karen, if you want to come on the podcast and talk about this, I would love to hear more about the work that you do. She wrote this book, and she also wrote or co-authored this. I'm getting it all messed up. Sorry. But there's another book out there, that This isn't what I expected. And she founded the acclaimed Postpartum Stress Center. She comes to the aid of new mothers everywhere with a groundbreaking new source of hope, compassion, and expert help. Good Moms Have Scary Thoughts is packed with world-class guidance, simple exercises, and nearly 50 stigma busting. I am just tongue-tied today, but this is real. I'm rolling with it. Cartoons from the viral hashtag Speak the Secret. So let's start using that hashtag Speak the Secret, right? We need to get this word out there. Campaign. This helps new mothers validate their feelings, share their fears, and start feeling better. Lighthearted yet serious, warm, not sugary, and perfectly portioned for busy moms with full plates. This is an on-the-go resource for moms, partners, and families everywhere who need help with this difficult period, right? One thing you hear me saying a lot is, this isn't always easy, but together we can create space for ease within that. So another resource I want to share with you is processing your birth story, right? Or processing trauma. Sometimes we come from a place of trauma, and pregnancy and birth can be one of those things that sort of unearths that trauma, right? Kelly and I from Circle of Life will talk about this in the podcast coming up very soon, guys. So tune in there. So one of the things that I do with every postpartum client that I see, or if you purchase my childbirth education course, this is part of the gift that you get in that is a birth book story. So a birth story book, again, tongue-tied today. This is hand stamped by me, and I send it to you in the mail after you've submitted the form, after your baby's been born, because processing that, whether things may not have seemed traumatic to begin with, they may seem traumatic later, right? So another resource is mental health folks, or counselors, or therapists. So again, shout to the Peninsula Birth and Baby Expo. They're going to be a Dyad Mental Health, Catherine Davies. She's going to be there. Go see her. Circle of Life, Kelly Barlisle. She's one of the entrance sponsors. It's fantastic. Trying to look at my notes. Sorry, guys, but I took a few because I've got a lot to share with you today. That book is great for identifying things, right? What else can we do to help ourselves in the postpartum period? Well, here in Kitsap County, there's the Hope Circle, and that is a nonprofit. And gosh, Megan and Monica, you're still keeping that going. I know it was started by so many hearts, but you guys are keeping it going. So this is the group peer support model. Yes. And so you arrive to this. It's also hosted at Blossom Baby once a month. So check it out on Facebook to find out when the next one is. It's free or by donation if you want to donate, but you can attend for free. And it's a space to sit with other mamas and have a judgment-free and also advice-free zone. So why is this important? We are so inundated with advice, and yeah, I give it too. Sometimes it's unsolicited, sometimes it is solicited, but when you're experiencing something, especially intrusive thoughts, the last thing you need is to be bombarded by like, oh, did you try this, or let's do this. Sometimes you just need a brave space. Thank you, Crystal Gurney, for teaching me that phrase, to sit and process and get some of this out, right? It's part of what I'm going to cover in the class that I'm holding at the Expo, preparing for your 4th trimester, writing your beyond birth plan. It's so important, guys. We prepare a lot for the birthing day, but there's a lifetime of loving this baby that follows that we need to prepare ourselves for too. So other things you can do, seek out a counselor. You're not any less if you find someone to talk to about it. Postpartum doulas. So check out the Peninsula Birth Network. I mentioned that yesterday. There are a lot of great ones there. Gosh, I met some wonderful ones in our community. I'm a postpartum doula. Let's see, Amanda of Signet Doula Services, Danielle of Serenity Postpartum Care. There are so many. I wish I could remember all of them, but go to the Peninsula Birth Network. That's a free resource, a free spot to go look at these postpartum support folks. The Nurse Family Partnership, again. So they try to connect with you in pregnancy, and then they see you through to that transition. This is a resource, especially for low-income families. Reach out. And then you might wonder, like, what else can help me, like, prepare for my birth and prepare for this postpartum period? Well, childbirth education actually can be very beneficial for postpartum healing and for postpartum, like, processing the events, because if you go into it prepared, knowing something to build that baseline off of, then it's not as scary, right? Like, if you're hearing about an epidural for the very first time when you're asking for one, that can be a traumatic thing. If you're, getting a catheter and you're like, I didn't know that went there. These are real things that I've seen. Like, people don't know about their bodies sometimes. So let's start talking about them. Let's start sharing. So this was a little bit long-winded of a video, but I hope that you'll watch, because this is important work. There's so much important work, but we can each do our own part to be a better community in all of this, and be the change that we all need. And it's not that one need is for everyone. Everyone's needs are different, but how do we know what they are if we don't start exploring them? So come explore them with me at the Expo. Meet a ton of other great folks there. I'll drop some links so that you have those. But thank you for tuning in with me. Little postpartum giveaway bundle. Yes, get in on that goodness. There are many, many ways to get extra entries. So when you're looking at that, like, think, have I subscribed to the podcast? Did I go watch that YouTube video? That's just different ways for you to just get extra points and maybe have a higher chance. I'm not really sure exactly how it works, but there's a program that does it for me. So I will see you all tomorrow. The theme tomorrow is breastfeeding and baby feeding. So let's talk about that a little bit more and the support that surrounds that. I can't wait to see you. Thank you all for your lovely support and for being here with me. And I'll see you tomorrow.